The shipment did actually arrive, and it arrived on July 24th, 2023, which for those who care was 354 days or 11 months and 20 days. It goes without saying that nobody likes when their package is late. Fortunately, at SpeedCubeShop, we have some really good processes in place that will help mitigate problems when packages do inevitably get delayed by the mail carrier, which, quick PSA, we are not a mail carrier. We can't prevent packages from being delayed or late or go missing, but we will do everything that we can to help you, I promise. So with that being said, it's always interesting, when we hear about people that kind of rightfully will complain about packages that are late or go missing or whatever. And I think that it's interesting because I've had my fair share of experiences with packages going missing, which is actually the catalyst to why I opened SpeedCubeShop back in 2008, because a package that I ordered from overseas never arrived, and I lost about $400 in total. About 200 of that was my own money. So with that being said, I didn't really think that it would ever happen with inventory that I ordered for SpeedCubeShop. Not that I didn't really think it would happen, but it's just, when we ship sizable shipments of inventory, it's insured and we use really good shipping services, and it's just one of those things that even though there's delays, we fortunately have never had anything that has really gone just missing that has been of immense value. So because the way it all works is when you place a large order of cubes, and they send it out to you from the factory, you get a bunch of different shipments. It's not just, of course, one massive box, right? You get a bunch of different boxes that come, and sometimes they arrive all at the same time. Sometimes they arrive over the span of multiple days or even a few weeks. So back on August 4th of 2022, we placed an order that was pretty sizable. It was well into the 5-figure range, which was kind of scary-ish for us, but it's what you have to do to have enough cubes to sell to you guys, right? And make sure that we're not running out of stock. So we placed the order, and long story short, it never arrives. It first started off with being an issue at customs, because customs is a really weird beast. I don't feel like anybody truly understands customs. Everybody I've spoken to, whether it be at customs or different mail carriers or whoever it is, everyone has a different opinion of how things work, what causes an inspection to happen, and what causes things to be opened and all that sort of thing. It is relatively common for us to receive shipments that have been inspected at customs, and the worst part of it is about 8 times out of 10, they will scramble or use some of the cubes that we had shipped, and it's always the big cubes. We always order a 21 by 21, right? And we'll open up the box, it has the big green tape that says inspected by customs, and we're like, oh man, please don't be the box that has the 21 by 21s in it. Sure enough, we open it up and there's a 21 by 21 either in pieces, or it's going to be completely scrambled up, and now we have to then solve it and sell it as an open box item in our showroom here in Las Vegas. So not really the most ideal situation, but what can you do? So with that being said, we placed this order on August 4th, and it gets held up in customs, which is somewhat routine, so no problem. Well, a week goes by, still nothing. 2 weeks goes by, still nothing. 4 weeks goes by, still nothing. 8 weeks goes by, still nothing. I think you see where I'm going with this. And we ended up getting to the point where just the tracking expired, so there was no more visibility on the package. Nobody seemed to know where this package was, and it seems like it just disappeared at customs. And I assumed that it had just been destroyed because it wasn't claimed or something had happened. And it was a really weird situation because all of the duties and taxes had been prepaid on that shipment. So there wasn't any outstanding balance of import fees or anything like that. So I just thought that somebody at customs might have been having a bad day, decided to seize the shipment for whatever the reason, and just destroyed it. And, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how that goes. And so, luckily for me though, I hadn't yet paid for the shipment. And so we were in this really touchy situation with this factory who was really great to work with. And I ended up paying half of it at that point in time. It was like, okay, like you now have at least some of the money, and while we figure this whole thing out, right? So the shipment just never shows up. And it gets to the point where like every month or two, I would hear some sort of update from this factory of like, hey, we're still looking into it. Or I would ping them and say, hey, what's going on with this shipment? And I actually wrote it down right here. So the shipment did actually arrive, and it arrived on July 24th, 2023, which for those who care was 354 days, or 11 months and 20 days, or 96.99% of a year later. So the shipment arrived, and I was actually almost more astounded because when it arrived, we had no idea what it was. We weren't expecting anything on that day, and it just, these boxes look like they had been through, like these boxes have seen some stuff at customs. I mean, they were all opened for inspection. The products in them were pretty much a really big mess. They were scrambled, they were broken, just everything, every nightmare you can think of. There were stickers peeled off, believe it or not. I actually wonder if I have any pictures of that, but if I do, I'll show them on screen now. And so we contact the factory, who will remain unnamed, even though it's not their fault, but you just never know. And we told them, hey, the shipment arrived. And so we paid them over the balance, which is the right thing to do. But the problem is that when we ordered this nearly a year ago, our inventory needs were a lot different back then. So we now have a bunch of stuff that just got literally dropped onto our doorstep and we didn't really need or account for. So we now have a bunch of stuff that either we don't really need, or we have a bunch of stuff that's now going to be having to be sold as an open box, either as a mystery item or as a item in the showroom that we can sell. And there's a bunch of stuff that's broken that we're just going to have to eat the cost on. And we're trying to work that out with the factory and hope that they will kind of give us some sort of credit on that future, on a future order for that. But we'll see. So if you see a bunch of mystery items go for sale at SpeedCubeShop.com, you know why. And yeah, definitely help me liquidate some of this inventory by shopping with us. So you'll have some really good deals and stuff on sale. But yeah, it's just really crazy how sometimes that stuff happens and people don't always, I think, understand like what can happen with these big shipments. And I was definitely a part of that crowd, but now I know. So I guess just the moral of the story is pick who you shop from wisely and make sure they have your back, because luckily this factory was willing to work with me and allowed me to pay that 50% up front while we figured out the rest of this. But you know, they certainly could have just stuck me with the bill and I would have really not had that much recourse. So yeah, like I said, rest assured though, if you do shop with us at SpeedCubeShop.com, which I hope you do, we will make sure that you're taken care of every step of the way. And help me buy some of these cubes if I haven't already mentioned that. Please. Thank you.